All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic start to the AM here. Happy Friday in honestly what has been a strange feeling week, right? Yesterday kind of was like kind of felt like the climax of that, right? It's a really nervy, kind of strange, funky feeling trading day. Um, and yes, like just still honestly kind of being a little bit bothered by the nervousness I felt there yesterday. Just felt so uncomfortable or different. Like that's not a great adjective. Um but yeah, something just felt off yesterday. And yeah, just kind of sorry, I was muted on Discord. Appreciate that. But yeah, just weird feeling trading week here so far. Yesterday, very weird feeling trading day. Um, yeah, I don't quite know where that nervousness came from. Still don't have a very good answer for it. But yeah, looking to kind of just finish the week off strong here, and yeah, make sure I don't do anything silly. It's been a strange week. It's been a strange feeling week. Um, yeah, it's not been yeah, it's not been super easy. And I think yeah, just really challenging to pick the right trades here at the moment. And that's fine, right? That's the fight we have to go through here sometimes. Excuse me. And yeah, I'm not gonna fester on it too long or anything like that, but yeah, I still think it's worth acknowledging. Yesterday's trading day was kind of a weird one. So happy to be obviously green and keeping the streak going, but um, yeah, yesterday just felt very, very different. Than yeah, good morning as well. Hope you're feeling sharp. So, excuse me, I got something in my throat here. Yeah, with that being said, not too much going on here this morning, right? We're expecting I don't know, probably an interesting end to the week here. Fine, data wise, nothing too crazy. But let's see how the day shapes up. Let's see where momentum comes in here today. And hopefully, right, we can take advantage of whatever move is available to us. And then we can kind of go from there. So, first things first here, team. What's the count on ES? Let's start there. Good morning. Happy Friday to you all. And let's have ourselves a heck of a day. Yeah, 3 for 3 here to the upside. I don't know if I'd call this like a crazy indication of trending price action, right? Although it's a increasing volume profile, it's probably not like the strongest indication still of trending PA. Just contextually, right? That volume is still very light and very thin. So I do think that there is probably like a reasonable argument to be made that there might be some sort of bearish case here today. But I want to be careful trading here to the downside. I think I probably mentioned this a little bit yesterday, or maybe more so in passing than I did formally during the prep. But when conditions are kind of grinding here to the upside, and we're kind of getting that like drift higher versus kind of like big sustained moves, then the reversal trade here or the trade to the downside, right, ends up usually being a faster move. Like the price action moves faster. Excuse me, I don't know why I'm coughing so much. Um, and because the move to the downside, right, generally in these conditions can happen a little bit faster. I think that there's like a little bit of a subconscious element that wants to crave the quick moving price action instead of wanting to trade basically the price action that's in front. So I definitely know that a bias of mine is when we do get that grinding PA, I almost want to look for bearish scenarios first because it gives me that more exciting or that more fun move. And so I know that that's my bias. I want to fight back against that. And although I do have a reasonable flexibility here of being bearish, I'm still going to make sure that I'm attaching kind of a stricter standard, right? To, make sure that I'm not getting caught in something. So yesterday we had the more volume than yesterday standard, right? If we were interested in here to the downside, and I'm going to continue to maintain that same level here today. Now, this morning, right, we're testing all-time highs, right, and all-time highs were made there in the pre-market at approximately, right, 2024. So we're just going to have this mapped out towards like 6250, which is a crazy number in my opinion. That one go up even a little bit more. And then to the downside here, pre-market lows of 6190. Ooh, where do those numbers come from? 6190, 6180. We'll go down to like 6150. Yeah, not expecting a super volatile session, not expecting a super aggressive move here. I think like mentally almost, I want to put myself in a situation where I'm just thinking about the base hit, right? I'm thinking about the consistent and repeatable process. I'm not Mark, we'll take a look at that at the end. I just don't want to I don't want to set myself up looking for the home run and like drain mental capital in my pursuit of it when I can protect myself from myself, not ruin my weekend, right, on a Friday. I just don't want to do something where I end up feeling like an idiot, right? That's kind of a big priority here today. And if it's going to be a slow, grindy, kind of bouncy market, this just feels like it's setting up as a Friday that is going to want to lure me into a lot of mistakes. So objective here today, force myself to slow down so that I can be deliberate. And so I can remove my P&L attachment, right, from my process attachment, and then hopefully have a much more successful trading day. All right, NQ, what's the count here? Yeah, same thing, right? 3 for 3 here to the upside, but not exactly like a super enthusiastic 3 for 3, right? There's a reasonable argument to be made that we should have some flexibility here in both directions. We're looking at a 22.9 as our starting point here, and then we've already got it mapped out. I mean, again, I don't think we're going to go 1,000 points here to 23.9, but maybe I can save myself some prep on Monday. To the downside here, we're going to be looking for increasing vol versus yesterday. And then we're probably looking, what, 22.6, right, as our starting point here. And then we've got it mapped out ways down below. So again, more of a bullish bias than a bearish bias, but I know that when things are slow, my brain wants to look for the rug pull more than the easy trade there higher or the grind type trade. So I just want to fight against that bias here a little bit this morning and make sure that any bearish scenario I look at, I kind of apply a slightly stricter standard towards. And then the other element, right, is it kind of we used to call these types of Fridays at the firm fuck up Fridays, where these are the types of days where you're just super likely to make a dumb mistake, and then you get called into Al's office right on Monday. So just trying to avoid one of those types of days, right? I don't want to do anything that ruins my weekend here today, and hopefully markets want to cooperate and they can give me some smooth, clean price action early, and we can start the weekend off here. Very, very early days here. All right, CL. So green candle, decreasing volume, gap up. And we're still consolidating right inside Tuesday's range. So we'll call this stuck inside Tuesday's range. and then 2 out of 3 to the upside without volume. So bull case here, still up towards 68. I mean, that's going to be the starting point. We're going to go 66.50 as our initial target and then higher. And then we're looking for a breakdown here towards 64 and then beyond. All right, Apple, 2 out of 3 to the downside without volume. And it's a weak 2 out of 3. But let's be honest, Apple is chopping about inside its range, right? This $200 area, key spot for Apple. Doesn't want to separate above, doesn't really want to separate below. So we're continuing to watch. Microsoft, right? 2 out of 3 to the upside with volume, a little bit of a gap down here. Tesla, 2 out of, inside bar, sorry. Tricked myself there. So we're looking for a consolidation breakout. Amazon 3 for 3 did not set up as an inside bar. Don't get those too often. Nvidia higher high, higher low, red candle, decreasing volume gap up. 1 for 3. AMD 2 out of 3 here to the upside yesterday. Today, 1 for 3 to the downside. Red candle, decreasing volume gap up. Again, not a massive gap up, but it counts. Meta, 3 for 3. Netflix, 3 for 3. I mean, Netflix is a freak. I feel like I say this every time it's green. And then the old Google, 2 out of 3 to the upside without volume. Still looking to break out from last Friday's range and very much inside of a wedge pattern. And then the old Vixaruni, 16 spot to 8. So not exactly a heavy implied volatility. Kind of seems like a funky, funky environment. So as for just trading the NDX, I have delayed market data, so maybe this is a little bit off. But very similar, right? You're looking for a similar type breakout here, up and over through some of this consolidation. Again, same thing, you're at all-time highs, so you just be looking 100 points along the way. And then looking for that continuation pop up and over. But yeah, this is still green candle, right? Increasing volume gap up. So this would be a 3 for 3 here to the upside. So bulls are in control, but they're not like the world's most enthusiastic bulls. How's everyone feeling this morning? Yeah, the difference is just going to be the there's a premium to the futures, right? So it's just going to be the cash equivalent of its derivative. Good morning, Mama Mafia. Good, guys. Good to hear everyone's feeling sharp, feeling refreshed, feeling recharged. I don't know. Like I said, been kind of a funky week. Yeah, kind of curious to see what the market has in store for us here today. Next week is going to be a weird one. We've got Canada Day one day, and then 4th of July is on the Friday. So I think next week is going to be pretty slow, or at least the second half of the week for sure is going to be pretty slow. So I wonder if we get a pre 4th of July big trend day, right? So I wonder if that kind of goes. Yeah, fire away, Rico. Or like the two scenarios, right? Is we get that one big trend day, one big kind of day of enthusiasm before kind of 4th of July, Canada Day, all those kind of wonderful celebrations. Or, right, I wonder if we're kind of into that like grind set mode here already, and we're kind of creeping up or getting ready for those quote unquote like holiday conditions. So we'll see. Let's see how the market opens. Let's see what the volatility looks like here today. The volatility was they're not allowing, there's no API access for you, Anthony, because that's where it should be, right? The API access to trade through TradingView should be found on Tradeovate under their add-ons. So you should be able to access it that way. I've not heard of them preventing you from using TradingView. Interesting. I've not heard of that happening before. So yeah, their customer support would be better equipped to answer that question. But I thought even when you're doing your evaluation stage, you should still be able to execute through TradingView. I thought that was still possible. Your question's an interesting one, Rico. I'll be honest. It's probably a little bit outside of my my tax understanding. So I don't know what the tax benefit would be there for you, right? Or what that would equal from a bottom line perspective. But I will. I would say that right now, with where the U.S. dollar is at, it would be a pretty good opportunity to convert from Canadian to USD, or to at least start thinking about that conversion process. That's kind of more where I can provide some feedback. I'm not. I'm very uncomfortable talking about tax situations or about tax optimizations. I'm not an expert there, and there's too many funky things that can happen. We do CL, yeah. All right, so kind of an interesting sized range, kind of the same as yesterday, but maybe a little bit more indecisive, right? Kind of dojis across the board. Yeah, probably expecting it to be a slower start. And then if it kind of speeds up a little bit, right, we can go from there. Just for reference, Rico, right? Like I have someone who I pay for my taxes and who helps me take care of all those things. Um, I'll be honest. Every time I have the time to learn about them and to think about them, um, those tend to be the days where I fall asleep on my couch with my laptop in my lap. So, yeah, I hate taxes, and I also hate thinking about them. So I'm not a very well equipped person to answer any questions there. All right, so let's get everything fired up here. Yeah, no worries, Anthony. Glad we could help you fix that. It did sound a little bit funky or a little bit weird. And I agree. Once you get used to the trading view execution, I think it's some of the best around. I really do. Far so slow. Maybe a bit of a fake out here earlier. I do, yeah. Oh, probably not the most enthusiastic of opens here. I have a stronger open than maybe I expected on the 5 relative term. Oh, excuse me. Well, I'm more bullish today because my count is 3 for 3 here to the upside, right? So yesterday I had strong daily candle shape. I had increasing bullish volume, and then pre-market price action was moving to the upside. So everything is telling me, right, from a recent price action perspective, that bulls are in control, not that bears are in control. So uh, I'm using my pre-market prep system to determine my bias more so than my imposed feelings on the market. Well, like, you're at all-time highs. Who was long has a reason to sell right now, right? Not that many people. So I think always it's a little bit easier to play the breakout trade on an all-time high move than the reversal trade. Personal opinion, but I would very much consider myself more of a trend follower than a trend counterer. It might have a chance here for increasing volume. Eh. Honestly, I'd love it to be done by 10 a.m. today. That would be great. Okay, so NQ probably more likely because we're already above outlier as a volume perspective. So let's even go increasing here. It'll be close. Pop its little head over. 10 seconds. Let's see. You know what? I don't think it's going to get there. NQ again, it's increasing, but it's not enough volume. Not outlier, right? So uh ES gives me increasing, not outlier volume. NQ gives me outlier, not increasing. So it's just compromises here so far. I've had to fight too many demons here this week of patience and discipline to now compromise on a Friday morning. That's not worth it. So yesterday I went for a run right after markets closed, and about halfway through my run, it just started pouring, like just some of the hardest rain I've seen here in the last I don't know, month or so. And oh my gosh, it felt so like refreshing and cleansing. Oh man, I would highly recommend it. Came home after and just felt like a new man. It was so good. All right, good to see you here so far. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so still pretty patient start here. I don't think we're going to get it on the 5-minute time frames either. Oh, still looking. How's everyone feeling this Friday? Everyone feeling sharp? No one's fighting demons like I am today. And when I say fighting demons, I mean being blindly short just for the sake of it, just to feel alive. Yeah, facts, Mike, facts. No, for sure. I get that. Cabo, are you in here this morning? Did you take your payout yesterday? Nice. Let's go. Congratulations. Oh, it's such a rewarding feeling. That first one too always feels the best. Especially that first big one. I think one of my I get like favorite quotes, or I'll probably butcher it, but it's almost, I think it's like a Mark Minervani quote, but he basically says like, for years and years and years I struggled as a trader, and then something clicked or something changed, and I went from being a loser, right, to covering all my losses in a week. And I think like getting that reward or getting that feeling, I think that's the most satisfying, like, first big step as a trader. That like official transition from being a loser, and I mean that from just like a losing trader perspective, to now being a winning trader. It is the best feeling. That turn the corner type sensation. So very proud of you, Cabo. That's awesome, man. Congratulations. I do. I have them open. They don't really do anything any extra. Um, I think they just help me split up the pattern a little bit better sometimes. But yeah, I do like the volume candles. I started using them maybe 6 months ago. Pretty anemic volume so far. Excuse me. I had the other realization yesterday. I can't believe how fast June has gone. Feels like I wasted June. Let's take a look. Cheers for the heads up, Nick. Yeah, great shout, great spot. All right, let's keep an eye on this, see how it closes. Appreciate that. Thank you. Potentially looking like a fake out. And again, team, right? If we don't get a trade here today, if we don't get any action, if we don't get anything, no big deal, right? That's fine. Part of the game. Sometimes knowing when to trade and when not to trade is more important than placing a trade or being in a position. And so I think based on how this candle is closing, unless it closes, back towards that 65 handle. Ooh, nope. I'm probably going to pass this burden on to the 5-minute time frame here. I don't want to trade a compromise today, right? It's got to be so freaking perfect that there's nothing there or nothing in my setup or nothing in my price action that would make me feel like, oh man, do that. Right. So I don't want there to be any compromises here today. I think it's got to be absolutely perfect, or it's got to be so far from interesting that I'm not looking for it. Right. So yeah, I think it's worthwhile to be too conservative than too aggressive right now. Maybe this is anecdotal as well. But if I'm thinking back to my last like 6 months of trading, it's generally those like Fridays after what's been I'd probably call this week a little bit stressful from a market perspective, or maybe that's not the right adjective. I would call this week to be like mentally draining, right? A little bit where it's required a lot of focus, it's required a lot of effort, and maybe not for like a super proportionate reward, right? For what feels like that effort. Um, so it often kind of feels like when you get those types of environments, that Friday at the end of the week, you're kind of just like a little bit fried, and you're maybe a bit more likely to make some mistakes. I mean, it closed at the exact same price as the 3-min, right? The 3-min closed at 68, 69, closed at 69, 68. Hmm. Well, that's just would have been a shakeout anyway. So again, a good decision here. And I think it just highlights how sticky, how sticky things are going to be. And this week a little bit as well. We've kind of seen each day there to be some sort of like capitulation type event or some sort of like aggressive failure from one side or the other. Um, yeah, I would say I'm almost like mentally set up to wait for that like clear failure or clear rejection from one side, because I don't feel as if there's a smooth move here yet. Like ES just grinding higher on pathetic volume. NQ a little bit better from a volume perspective, but a little bit worse from a grind higher perspective. CL instantly, give or take, fakes out the confirmation. So I think we've done a good job here so far being patient and not falling for the market's tricks. But let's see how long it holds up for. We got data in 8 minutes as well. I don't think I need to be too aggressive in that run up. Um, it's going to be dependent on your specific situation, Anthony. I'm always a big believer that with prop firms, you want to try to make that cash real by getting it into your bank account. As long as it's in their accounts, the money's not real. So I'm always more biased, we'll call it, right, towards paying yourself consistently. And then when you can take that max payout, take it, run, right, make your money, and go from there. Again, kind of drifting higher here, but not on volume standards that I could appreciate, or volume standards that I could chase, maybe a better word. All right, come on, volume. What do you got for me? It'll be close on this 3-min. Now the 10 a.m. data is maybe a little bit of a concern. Revised inflation expectations. I'm just not quite sure if we're going to get an algo reaction at 10 a.m. I don't know. That is the right volume profile. It's the right candle shape. It's the right breakout from consolidation. Again, the right cooperation. Hey, Ghost, if you have any questions, obviously feel free to ask them here. Would be happy to help. All right, so I do have to respect NQ here. Immediately, we know we're looking for the aggressive stop loss technique, right? Because it's made a higher high. Now, there's also a incy bincy part of me that maybe wants to pass on this burden of confirmation to the 5-min, because that makes it a little bit easier for me to get an entry post-market data. That's what I'm going to do. I think that's the most logical decision. I'm going to wait for this on the 5-min time frame. Let's see if it can give us the profile we're craving then. If not, it'll tell us a fake out, right? Which I think is also, it'll tell us either a 5-min confirmation or a 3-min fake out, right? And I think either one of those scenarios are reasonable. But let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, CL, that's quite the trap candle. And buck 10 to go. Let's see. All right, good reaction here. We got lots of space towards that 815. No biggie. Again, we've not missed out on anything here on this 3-min time frame. So I think switching to the 5 was the right decision. And let's see, right? So ideally, it's going to close above 760. Shouldn't be a particularly challenging standard. That's okay. Let's see the algo reaction. There it is. All right. So immediately we know we're looking for the aggressive, right? 762 stop loss, we'll call it. We're going long, right? So 762. And reference price would be approximately here, right? Previous high of day, so 770. Might not happen. Mean. If we get that 800 breakout, then I could at least target a move towards 900. So, I mean, also could potentially be in play. But that didn't give me a chance for an entry. Yeah, that would have been nice. All right, so we'll keep watching these on the shorter time frames as well. Okay, so maybe still a buck to go. Good volume here on this breakout. Same thing on ES. Let's go. Maybe we have a tradable opportunity here. Do this as well, I guess, in theory. Do what, 23 points stop loss. A 10-min breakout. 18 points of risk at 80. Unreasonable. Okay, see how this candle closes. And then if it does, right, we're targeting 900 here. Decent close. So again, I would prefer the aggressive entry technique here. I can get better position sizing. And if then this trade is strong, right? If it's going to give me a good reaction, it's going to give me that good reaction here at 800, right? If we're going to get that breakout and we're in this trade and we get kind of a lack of enthusiasm pop at that area, I know that I'm dealing with kind of a bullshit trade. All right, so we're looking at a 784 stop loss. And so I could go 2 contracts here potentially. We want to see a gentle pullback back now, lower. And now it would be 1 contract for sure. Risking about 260 bucks right now. Now I could go back to 2 contracts. 96. Looking for a little bit of a deeper pullback if I can get it, just a little bit. Okay, guys, I am in 792.50, 792.50, 2 contracts, stop loss at 784. Okay, so far so good here, team. So far so good. Now we want to see that breakout here up and through, right? 800. So we want to see a pretty decent aggressive pop up and over, right? But yeah, really happy with that entry. That was a really good entry. That reference price, right? Pretty much spot on. Exactly where we wanted it to be. So looking good. And now let's see if we can get this thing to pop. Come on. Like to see a slightly more aggressive move higher here, right through that psychological level. Struggling just a little bit at 800, just a little bit. Come on. Let's keep pushing here. NQ, come on. Just taking longer than I would have expected. How many tests of that has been of 800 now? Quite a few, right? Yeah, I don't know if I like this pullback very much. Still completely inside the previous candle, which is why I'm trying not to overreact to it. But if I'm trying to define what a strong reaction was post entry, I don't know if this is it. So let's see if it can happen here. Again, another 800 attempt. Here it goes. There we go. Much, much stronger. All right. How's everyone feeling? Everyone okay? Who's in this with me? Anyone? Beautiful. All right. Looking really sharp here, team. Looking really sharp. Let's go, everyone. Good, good. All right. So far, so good, right? Pretty much a perfect reaction here now. Post separation 800. We're looking good. Almost $1,000 here, right? So can't complain about that. Let's see if it's still got some legs. Oh, that was weird. What was the price you got in at, Anthony? Yeah, that was just a fuck you candle. Tried to shake out everyone at 800. Huh. Whoa. All right. Well, I think it's going to be time to start looking for an exit here in a second. Because again, that's not the right feeling reaction, right? 100%. So let's see how this thing closes here and we can get a good exit price. And I guess the key, right, to this is just not to panic and force a decision, right, once something new comes together. Still going to hold 800. So I should still be able to get a slightly better exit. That was a bit of a fuck you candle. Okay, so decent close. Pain in the ass with how it got there. Based on that candlestick, right, I'm still being told I should be holding on to this trade. Now, the feeling I have versus what the candlestick is telling me is a slightly different sensation. I'm still probably a bit more interested in closing than I am in holding. If there's that divergence, and yeah, like Ajay is saying, it's a 2-hour move. It's a pretty good thing to take. So again, I'm watching here, kind of slowly thinking about my exit strategy, right? So like a decent pop through 820 or a big breakout here. I basically don't want to see another lower low. That one felt like shit. There's 820. So let's see if this thing still got some juice here. Oh, it's making me fight. Okay, push, baby, push, push, push. Nice work, Anthony. Let's go, Mama Mafia. Nice work. This is kind of a weird back-to-back reaction because it kind of feels like a capitulation lower and now a capitulation higher. Hmm. Let's go, Nick. Let's go, Mark. Nice work, team. Let's go, John. 2,700 bucks, my man. Let's go. Oh, 270. I'm sorry. Still a fantastic day. Yeah, Anthony, there's a chat for the premium members on Discord. Um, Again, wrong feeling move. That fake out higher to 820 and then pull back kind of feels like shit. Um, I mean, this is definitely a candle I should be thinking about getting out on. So trying to get a close as my P&L is increasing here. Kind of like upper third of that candle if I can get it. That 810 though is looking real good. Come on, one more big pop here. Hmm. It's the blue line I draw, right? So when I draw out that blue line, I'm looking for an entry once it makes a move under or touches. So that's why I draw that blue line, right? That's why I'm where I'm watching. All right, guys, I got to get out of this. So I am out 795. Kind of a frustrating bullshit trade in the end. So when I draw my blue line, this is my reference price. I'm looking for an entry once it touches that blue line. That's why I draw it. So my entry on that trade, right, was 792.50. The reference price here, 792.75. So all out, 795.50. Oh, all in all, kind of a waste of time. Tried to give it as much time as I could. Trying to give it as much time as I could. Yeah, Nick, John, Brian, right, Mark, Mama Mafia, Anthony, you guys all got really good exits. Better than me here. I wasn't aggressive enough protecting, I don't think. Again, closing where I did seems like it's the right decision. But kind of took the long way to get there. Frustrating, I think, a little bit, actually. I'll take green is green for sure, but it should have been much better. Again, I don't like those trades where I close it as my P&L is decreasing. Even though it's a win, it kind of ends up feeling like a loss. Yeah, I'm not a big believer of having stop losses protecting my trades. Because if I'm willing to get out at that price, why am I not willing to get out at a higher price? So yeah, I want to get out where my idea is wrong, not when my P&L sucks. That's kind of terrible sounding, but yeah, kind of finding that balance, right? And same thing once you're in a trade, I want to be closing once I'm being told a narrative that bulls are no longer in control, or when I hit my profit targets. Can I still be green here theoretically? But a pullback to 88, I think I would have been very stressed through. So again, if this sets back up, I can always jump back in. I don't have to be super aggressive. But we talked about before entry, if we didn't get a very good reaction to 800, got to get out. I think a bit of like a overreaction move there to the upside, and then pulling back under 800 probably isn't that good reaction. Now, I wish I did a little bit better job of not maybe thinking that it would have bounced back. I think I probably gave 800 a little bit too much support credit. Well, there's always a little bit of regret there, I guess. Well, I'll take it. A green start to the day is a green start to the day. It should have been much better because we were up a lot more. That's life. Again, I'm happier with my process on this trade than I am with my P&L on this trade, as crazy as that sounds. because I did just trade it candlestick to candlestick. I didn't trade my P&L here today, and found the close, which I do respect myself for. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of mental gymnastics to justify, you know, 150 bucks. Well, in general, I like NQ more. It's kind of my sick obsession. But the main reason we were trading NQ previously is less of a move had happened, right? So we still had a reasonable breakout towards our either 1R target, right, or our opening range target, or up and over. ES was already through that range, and it closed at like 25. So from 62.25 to 62.30, just not a tremendous amount of space for us to take advantage of that move. So just today, the way charts have set up is NQ gave us a little bit of a larger tradable range. Mean. Everyone green after that trade, though. Yeah, green start here to the day. Good, good. Nice work. 1,200 bucks on the day is awesome. What was your close price, Speedy? Like all things considered, right? A scratch trade there is not bad. But what was your entry price and close price? I wonder if we could refine the details there and make sure you're green. Because I don't want to sound like an asshole. It only pulled back, right? 4 points under our entry price. So if you had held on, you still would have been green here. The only way you wouldn't have been is either a significantly worse entry or a panic close. So I wanna see which one it is so that we can fix it right going forward. Well, it's the access to the coaching, it's the funding, it's the Discord access, and it's the ability to do one-on-one calls with me. And the regular membership is just a trial, right? It's not a full-time or a lifetime agreement. So you're here on a trial basis, or you're enjoying the stream on a trial basis. So you'll get lifetime access to it, and then all the coaching and the support. I mean, ultimately, was the right decision to have gotten out where we did, but kind of a frustrating outcome. Should have been more. All right, sorry, just go grab some coffee. Yeah, potentially. We need to get an increasing outlier volume confirmation candle. We don't have that yet. Maybe here in 10 seconds it could close as that. I don't think it's going to be a strong enough candle shape. Okay, not a good enough candle shape. So we'll pass on that burden here to the 5. But yeah, that can now be the maybe the path of least resistance. Nice work. 173 or sorry, 793.50 to 813.50. Much better than me. Much, much better. Yeah, had I found a close 10, 15 points. Yeah, I don't really do a Discord only offering. If you want to join, talk to your DTR advisor or send me a message on Discord and we'll get you set up. Cold. If I were to describe this week, it's kind of been a base hit week, right? We're kind of just trudging along here a little bit. Lower low, lower high. It looks like it's going to be enough volume, but also looks like it's going to be the wrong candle shape. Yeah, I mean, it's been a good run of form. Not all of those 17 days have been super pretty. There was a run there where yeah, I basically was just like pyramiding into winning days and probably exceeding my risk thresholds by a significant margin. So maybe it's not a fully deserved green streak, but you'll take it. Oh, it is impressive, right? It's 17 green days, but in the course of a career, it honestly means I mean it means fuck all, right? Like over the course of my trading career, it's let's say I get 200 days a year, right? And hopefully I'll be trading for like 50 years. The way that I behaved over, we'll say, like 7 of those 17 days makes it feel really good in the moment, but probably not the best behavior after 10,000 trading days. I think it's kind of one of those things. Okay. Their entry actually wasn't that bad. So it was just where you panicked closed. And I panicked closed too, right? So I don't mean that as a negative. I'm just using the term that I have in my journal, right? So I closed because I didn't want to see it stop me out. So it was a panicked close, right? Suboptimal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, entry was good, right? And again, not taking profit off on that quicker than expected move to 826. That was the mistake, right? Closing it where I did was then not compounding mistakes. But the mistake on that trade, right, was not closing it on that big pop when we literally spoke it into existence. The second time I've done that this week, right? I had that one trade to the downside. I think it was on Tuesday. And my brain's a marshmallow right now. But yeah, we're on Tuesday, right? We had the big bearish breakdown, green quite a bit, and then it reversed and stopped me out and just ignored my take profit, right? On that same thing, move happened faster than I expected. So fixed one side of that mistake, I guess, on that trade, but not the other side, not the more important side, which is taking the big win. Hmm. Still kind of crappy candles. Well, I need a combination of things. So I would need the volume to get up to above that white line. But I'd also need to see us close on a candle that looks like 1, 2, or 3, right? So like a most bearish, second most bearish, normal body bearish. So I want a strong momentum standard, right? To also be confirmed by a strong candle shape. So this one was my closest bet, right? But it wasn't outlier volume. This was outlier volume, but not a strong candle shape. Could argue that this was outlier volume as well, but again, not a strong candle shape. So to a certain extent, it's like a little bit of a compromised setup. So I don't have like a reason to chase this. It's kind of grinding price action to the downside instead of grinding price action here to the upside. Neither one of those are particularly enjoyable to trade. Mm. Um, No, the fact that it rejected right at 230, that would slow me down here just a little bit. And although this is lower volume, it's not quite low vol pullback volume, right? It's not like the lowest standard of the day. The lowest standard of the day happened here like 940 to 950. So I think that there's probably a very, for the probability of it kind of just grinding at that level is probably higher than us getting a smooth reaction off of that level. If the volume was a little bit lighter, I could probably talk myself into it. But I think for now, it kind of is looking like breakout chop, breakout chop, breakout chop type PA. Like, fuck is that, right? And so if I'm seeing multiples of these moves here now, I've seen effectively this cap candle happen now 3 times. It's not a sign of strength, right? It's not a sign of strength from either direction. It kind of feels more like desperation than continuation. So for sure, obviously, like if you jumped in at 622, great entry. But I think with the upper resistance to get a confirmation to be able to justify this is the problem, right? You're just not going to get that space. If we can get that breakout over high a day, we're back in business. In NQ here, I can maybe talk myself into again. So all I'm doing, right, John, is I'm setting that limit or that reference price for myself, setting my risk based off of that reference price, and then I'm setting my bid or ask to be 0, right? So it effectively behaves like a market order. All I then do is click submit once it's under that blue line if I'm bullish, or above that blue line if I'm bearish. So it technically fires off a limit order, but it fires it off at the bid or the ask, just depending on the direction that I'm trading. And so it behaves a bit like a market order, but it executes at an upper limit. It won't just randomly execute. So if I execute under my blue line, I should not get an execution greater than. So let's say hypothetically, right, and I'm not looking at an entry here. Okay, I would set my risk to be the difference between 795.25, right, and my stop loss of 771, so 24 points. And then I'm setting my entry target here, right? Now it would be set at ask 0, tick 0, stop loss 771. And then I know I'm looking for under 795. So once I see here under 795, I'm clicking submit, and my order window would look exactly like this, right? So not quite 95 here, not quite 95, still not under 95, right? So no reason to click submit. Once I see a 94.75, once I see a 93.75, click and submit. So still not under, still not under. Boom. And I got kind of a crappy fill, but that would be the process, right? So it's once I see that price tick under, I'm clicking my buy. Does that make sense? Yes, no, maybe. Yeah, when I draw that blue line, all I'm doing, right, is I'm looking to get a discount relative to that blue line. That's it, right? So there's not like there's not more thought to it than that. It's basically just what do I think I can get away with, right? Like what's the biggest discount I think I can get away with? And that's I would say that side of it is more art than science, right? So like I can't give you an exact routine like, oh, take 10 deep breaths and 12 blinks. Like I'm not thinking that way. I'm just in the moment sitting there thinking what's the best or what's the biggest discount I can buy relative to my reference price. And so that's the art element, right? The science is picking the reference price, which is, high of my confirmation candle, right? Midpoint of my pullback, the point where I'm risking less than 500 bucks, right? Like there's a repeatable process to get to that blue line, but then timing out that entry under it, that's the art side of things. And it's literally just what I think I can get away with, right? What's the deepest discount I think I can buy in the moment? And you train up that muscle, right? So in our trading journal, right, we have the entry timing, right? So if it says it's red right away or it's never green, then I know that my entry timing here wasn't perfect, right? And I can do something that's a little bit better. Whereas if I have minimal drawdown, it means that I bought myself a pretty good entry price or a pretty good discount, and I should be happy with that. So it's kind of like training your gut, right? If on the opportunity where I thought it was the biggest discount I could buy, was it? Was it not? Right? Let me track that data. Let me train my gut and let me build up my Picasso entry timing, right? And improve my ability to be an artist. So it's a gut feeling to a certain extent for when I click submit, but it's a trained and refined feeling, right? Based on tracking data, based on how often I get good entries. And then I can, yeah, train my gut, right, to stomach deeper discounts. Kind of the process or the objective. Nice work, Mark. Hey, 4,300 bucks on the day. Let's go. Huge session. Do you guys kind of understand that distinction between art and science, though? What I mean by that? And like I think when we're trading well, like those two personalities, right? Trader personalities, the artist and the scientist, they're working in unison. You're not going too far one, too far the other. Like when I was saying that, I was earlier, I talked about how I kind of felt like during this little streak here, it was almost like I was pyramiding my way out of trouble, right? It was basically just trading until I was green, and then I could build up my position sizing and get bailed out. That, right, type of trading is going too far to the artist side. And it's not, I don't think you want to be like uh, a trader whose work is only valuable once you're dead. So there's got to be like a little bit of something there to keep you going in the meantime. honestly kind of a, yeah, of a crappy moving day here. I don't know how much more energy I want to give this. I'm trying to call myself an artist. Things are probably not going well. Yeah, so the DTR orb is this indicator, right? It's this green box and these red lines. It's a visualization of this spreadsheet, right? Or this PDF, right? So it helps me identify the opening range breakout. Yeah, it's in the FAQ section. In ES would probably be the only thing that I'd be interested in trading here on this 30 breakout, much more so than NQ. But again, it's kind of a relative term. There's a little part of me that's like, I should just call it. I think most people are using 150K accounts. Yeah, John. Sounds good, Jonathan. Have yourself a great day, man. And congratulations, 500 bucks per account. Let's go. I would say uh probably I'll be trading on Monday. I don't think I have any plans. Um People are either trading the 150s or the 50K Johns. I would say those are probably the two extremes. Yeah, you can get funded in a 50K account much faster, but you could also blow it a lot faster. So I think 50K accounts are easier to pass, but they're slipperier to get a payout for. 150s are harder to pass, but easier to get a payout. I think 50K accounts, like they're great, but it's so hard to survive a week's worth of mistakes or like a week's worth of challenging price action. You'll just blow through that drawdown so fast. I think where the 50Ks are best is probably yeah, and that would be the move Herschel. Yeah. At which point, right? Why not just trade minis on a bigger account? So like the way to optimize for keeping a 50K account, right? Yeah, may as well trade the larger sizing, in my opinion. Look, I'm the wrong person to ask in general because like when I first started working institutionally, 2 weeks after I started working there, I was trading $40 million. So like 150K or 50K would have been like slippage. um, so like I guess my perception of numbers in those contexts is just really skewed. But in my experience, I think it's easier to get a bigger payout on a bigger account. I would always recommend bigger, right? I would always recommend the 150s. I think that's the best account personally. But everyone's going to have a different reaction. Again, like I have survivorship bias here because I've pretty much mostly just been trading the larger accounts. Find those to be preferential, but everyone's going to react a little bit differently to the rules. But yeah, if you can pass on a 150K account, you could easily pass 50Ks. Passing a 50K doesn't mean you'd be able to pass a 150K. Nice work, Keek. Nice work, Cabo. Let's go. Adding more to those accounts. I love it. 100K is fine. The other thing, guys, right? Like, um, I know we're spending a lot of time here talking about account sizing. I don't think that's going to be the difference between you being profitable or not, right? Like maybe 1 out of 10 times, but 9 out of 10 times, I don't think it's the most important thing. Not the main thing, at least, right? So yeah, like there's some difference and there's some optimization to be had there, but keep the main thing, right? Your account size is a tool, not a feature. So treat it like a tool and you'll probably get a lot more value out of it. Yeah, I think that's good advice. Like I would maybe phrase it this way, right? Optimize for getting better first, for improving your skill, not for trying to make the most money, right? Because the money comes when you improve your skill set, not when you want to be a better trader. So most of the time, right, I would suggest that failing accounts is not a drawdown issue, it's a skill issue, right? Not getting payouts isn't a prop firm issue, it's a skill issue. So I'll keep the main thing, right? It's how can I improve my skills? What do I need to fix? so that the rules are kind of irrelevant. Yeah, sounds good, John. Good finish of the week, man. Yeah, and if micros give you guys more flexibility, right? And they give you a calmer reaction once you're in a trade, you're going to make more money trading micros, right? Having that flexibility versus being stuck in on something. Yeah, I love that selfishness. All right. 157 bucks here. Don't think I'm going to do too much more. Sounds good, you two. Enjoy. You're making me want a margarita here at 7:58 in the morning. Yeah, I think that's a good starting point, Ryan. Absolutely. I love their pass one, get one promo right now. I think that's awesome. How'd you guys rate the week out of 10? How's everyone feeling? Good week? Learning week? Profitable, hopefully, for everyone? Love it, Eric. Go. Well, I'm glad you learned a lot. That's fantastic. Yeah, I hear that, Mike. I hear that. Don't force it, man. It takes a little bit of time. Enjoy a bit of the holidays we're getting around this time of year. It is a little bit like that. You kind of have to, it's like work your way back into a rhythm. Kind of fascinating. I mean, say what you want about soulless capitalism, but every day I have to get better as a trader. Every day I got to learn something new. I love that side of it. That for me is so much fun. And every day the market likes to remind me I'm a freaking idiot. Every single day. She sounds like a smart woman, Mike. No, I don't think we missed too much. Yeah, I feel kind of dumb about not taking profit where I could have. But potato, potato. Fine balance between managing your thesis and closing it early. Tough to walk that line sometimes. Yeah, any other questions here, team? Any other questions? Yeah, you sign up for an account there, Ryan. Um, Sign up for an account there, right? Once you sign up and you pass, just send me your receipt. You too, Mike. Have yourself a great weekend, man. Let's go, John. Congratulations. Nice work, Kiki. Great weekend or great week for you too. Kind of 2 small days here to finish off the week, but it is what it is. Let's go. Hey, I mean, dude, 3K a week is fantastic. Keeps the old day job away, that's for sure. Well done. Your consistency, Kiki, is very impressive. And so always appreciate the updates. You've done a really good job gamifying those prop firms and using them to your advantage. All right, today was what, 2 out of 3 to the upside, or 3 for 3 to the upside. What do you mean by that, Mark? I'm not sure if I understand your question. Oh, well, you get those spikes and drops, right, Mark, like you're describing, because the volume has dried up, right? And um uh basically participants have dropped out, right? So those big spikes are basically just market orders coming in, flooding the market, and overwhelming the amount of supply that's available either to the upside or to the downside. So it's that lack of general liquidity, it then gives you like those overreaction moves when short-term liquidity jumps back in. And then the other element, right, is yeah, markets move in those types of ways here every now and then. Where right now we're getting more of like an overnight type price action versus an intraday type price action. So I don't know if there's any like indicators that would change or help you identify that market personality change. Um, at least none that I know of. So it's kind of just expecting it to be this way to a certain extent. Those like grinding and then like pop type moves, right, is what we talked about here a little bit this morning, where we said, you know, like when price action is grinding here to the upside, you get those like big sell-offs, really quick sell-offs. And when price action is slow, like I get a bit of a bias to want to trade those. That's a little bit of like a characteristic, I would say, of summer markets. We haven't necessarily seen too much of that type of price action in the last couple of years because there's been a lot of stuff going on outside of, um, or say a lot of stuff just going on in the background that kind of continued to create that volatility. Like last summer, right, was a relatively good tradable market because we were in the run up to the election, right? So you got kind of like a little bit of enthusiasm that way. Um, and yeah, maybe this summer we'll continue to get some oomph. July, from a seasonality perspective, is one of the strongest months of the year. So I think last 15 years in a row, every July has been green. So we'll see if that holds up, but certainly seems like that momentum could be there to the upside here at some point, especially if we do get that ATH breakout. Yeah, well, I mean, it does get me just up and over 801 on the year. Some fun. Hey guys, final call for questions here. Final call for questions. Laptop is closed. Yeah, for the year. Yeah. Yeah. Less tradable for me today, Stephanie. I didn't get any looks on it. Yeah, but it's been a strong year. A strong year, no complaints. I know, like that's probably the second year of my trading career where I'm kind of like back to making similar money when I worked institutionally. Well, that's just prop accounts, Anthony. I do also trade a personal, but those prop accounts, those are prop accounts. I've got 9 of them. So yeah, like going from trading institutionally to trading for myself was a very big pay cut. After now all these years of doing it solo, starting to get there, starting to get back to where it is. Had I stayed at that place and become a 13-year veteran of that company, I probably would have been doing 3 or 4 million a year at this point. Sometimes that keeps me up at night. It would have been completely tax free. That would have been nice. Yeah, you too, Brady. Enjoy. Any other questions here, team? Any other questions? Yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 So, um, worth mentioning this here before, but yeah. I mean, we've talked about this in the past, but there's an imposter running around the DTR Discord who's messaging people. I will not message you guys asking you to trade for you or to invest in some Bitcoin mining or anything along those lines. I'll ask you to send me your trades to give me feedback, whatever it is, but I will never ask you for another dollar, right? So that's not going to be the case here. So please be careful. I'm looking at some alternatives to potentially make or to eliminate that potential there going forward. Um, but yeah, we'll figure that out. Yeah, if it continues to be a persistent issue, we'll switch off of Discord and go somewhere else. But yeah, please be careful. This piece of shit refuses to stop. Good, good. Yeah, like the way that you can tell, right, is that this individual, when you search up their profile, it's a different username than me. Their profile isn't verified, and they're not a member of the DTR server, right? So they might have mutual friends, but they won't have a mutual DTR server connection like you. So please, sandy check, double check. All right, team. Final call here. Final call. I'm ready to go do some biking. All right, everyone. Well, same deal like always, right? If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, have yourselves a fantastic Friday afternoon and a wonderful weekend. And we'll be back at it again here on probably Monday. And we'll be back to trading then. Next week, I'll probably, well, Friday markets are closed. I'm probably going to take Thursday off just as full disclosure, but we'll see how things go. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. So have yourselves a great weekend, team. And see you all on Monday. Peace.